Reba McEntire found in her mother's kitchen ice all around. I thought, ain't no way I'm going that away. So I just turned back to Mom and I said, here you go. And she took a sip and she went, Alec, where's the ice?
There was ice everywhere in Reba McEntire's mom's kitchen. There's no way I'm going that way, I told myself. I then told my mom, here you go. Her first sip made her ask, oh, where's the ice? She was dependable, polite, and impossible to hurt. That was the picture of Reba McEntire that country music kept safe for more than 40 years. Then something went wrong at the grand old Opry's 100th birthday party. In an unguarded moment, Reba revealed a strong person in the industry who had worked against her on purpose. This person would rather be embarrassed in public than work with her professionally. Nashville was shocked by that news. There is no one who could make Reba McEntire do that. And was this really just a fight between two people, or was it evidence of something much darker going on behind the scenes? Keep reading to find out the names of famous people that Reba McEntire has never forgotten. First place goes to Tanya Tucker, the famous person who made Reba McEntire look bad in public. There is no one on the Opry stage that Reba McEntire hates more than Tanya Tucker because she didn't hurt her in private. She planned to make her feel bad in public and never took it back. Tanya and Reba were shown to be friends for years. Two women who worked in the same field and went through the same firings and closed doors. Behind the scenes, they were honest about how sexist country music is. Because they had a past together, the betrayal hurt so much. The blast happened in 2014 during an all-female tribute that was known across the country to honor the women who started country music. It was clear that Reba wasn't there. Fans asked about it. No one could explain until Tanya answered herself. Tanya didn't explain, so she just wrote online, "Not everyone gets an invite to the party." That line became well known. It was planned to fire them. By calling it a party, Tanya made Reba's 40-year contribution seem like nothing, suggesting that she didn't belong. Reba's friends and family say that's when she stopped acting like there was a mistake. Tanya knew exactly who people were interested in. She knew Reba would see it, but she still answered. The background of the insult made it worse. In the mid-1990s, Tanya's team reportedly offered Reba exclusive tabloid access in exchange for making Tanya the only host at a major country music hall of fame event. Reba was then quietly removed from her role as co-host. Then Reba didn't say anything. She took it in. 2014 was not like that, though. After that post, Reba stopped talking to anyone. There were no calls or efforts to make things right. After being asked about competition between women in country music, Reba only said, "I believe in lifting each other up. I also think that people show you who they are." That quote makes sense of everything. Tanya did more than just stand out. She is number one because she used public ridicule to erase Reba's place in history. Vince Gill is number two. It was the quiet that hurt more than betrayal. Vince Gill is second on Reba McEntire's private list of notorious people who can't be forgiven because he erased her and claimed nothing happened. The breakup started at the 2001 CMA Awards, which were supposed to show how strong Reba's voice is in country music. She was going to be in a duet on TV that had been planned, practiced, and accepted. Her team had confirmed the date, time, outfit, and advertising. Then, just hours before the last performance, her name was taken off the set list. There was no notice. The duet with Vince Gill just moved forward. What happened next turned an insult at work into a lifelong dislike. Vince didn't call. He didn't say why. He didn't say sorry. In a rare moment of clarity, Reba talked about the event later. Any attack was drowned out by the silence. That line is important because Reba has never asked for help or security. She wants people to respect her. It might have been possible to handle being changed. Not being cared for after being changed wasn't. At the time, people who worked in the industry confirmed that Vince's power was growing quickly in CMA and Opry-related circles. Even a short complaint could have made them talk about it. Trust could have been kept even with a secret acknowledgement. No one came. Reba thought that the silence meant agreement, if not planning. Afterward, it was quiet. Reba didn't let problems get out. The door was just shut. They stopped talking to each other often and informally. Working together stopped. The warmth went away. The couple never got back together. When asked about painful moments in the business years later, Reba brought up a show that never aired and wouldn't go into more detail. People who were close to her knew what she meant. It was planned not to name Vince in public. She thought that actions spoke for themselves. She learned a rule that night that she will never forget. If someone gains from your disappearance and doesn't say anything, they have already made up their mind. Third, Travis Tritt, the guard who told Reba McEntire she didn't fit. Why did Travis Tritt decide that Reba McEntire didn't fit in some parts of country music anymore? You see, the fight started with a choice made behind closed doors. In the early 2000s, Reba was asked to be a part of a famous all-star country project that would honor history, toughness, and legacy. Without doubt, Reba said yes. This showed how important she was. Then the final list came out, and her name wasn't on it. No call, no reason given. No one in charge told Reba the news. She found out from someone who worked at the studio and was embarrassed to tell her something that shouldn't have been kept hidden. Later, several insiders revealed that Travis Tritt had been against her being there, saying that the project should stay a male-focused anthem. His job had weight to it. The makers paid attention. A few months later, things got worse. Reba agreed to play at a charity event in Georgia that was linked to Tritt's management circle. She made room in her plan. She worked on it. A few days before the show, she was quietly taken off the schedule. It wasn't clear what was meant. Her acting was no longer right for the show. There was no straight call to Reba. That pause was important. In later interviews with the press, Reba was asked about Travis Tritt, and she only said one line. "Our voices are different." People who knew her knew how important it was. It wasn't about music, that Reba said. People who think women can be successful in country music are what she was talking about. In the middle, and who thinks it should be protected like private property. Of course, Travis never said mean things about Reba in public. He didn't need to. His acts made his message clear enough. Up until it wasn't convenient for her, she was welcome. They've never made things right between them again. They don't work together. They don't share stages. To Reba, Travis Tritt stands for something she can't forgive. It's not personal dislike, it's the use of power to decide who gets erased just because they don't fit someone else's idea of who belongs. She never crossed that line again after seeing it drawn. The fourth ones are Pete Fisher and Dan Rogers. The night Reba McEntire was told goodbye, she was quiet. On Reba McEntire's list of unforgivable betrayals, Pete Fisher and Dan Rogers are number 4. They were behind the grand old Opry and chose institutional control over humanity at the worst possible time. The broken bone happened at the tribute for Naomi Judd in May 2022. This wasn't like any other show. Naomi was more than just a story to Reba. She was a friend, a peer, and a woman whose problems Reba deeply understood. When Reba was asked to sing a tribute at the end, it was a moving moment. The song was picked with care. Rehearsals were kept secret. But, less than 24 hours before the funeral, the program changed how it was set up. Reba's part was quietly shrunk. Her act was cut down. Her spot in the list was moved up, which took away from the tribute's original meaning. There was no call. There wasn't any talk. Reba found out about the choice by getting a new list of things emailed to her team. People who know what's going on say that Pete Fisher and Dan Rogers pushed for the change. Pete Fisher and Reba had a fight in the past over schedules and publicity. Daniel Rogers had quietly said that Reba was on too many high-profile Opry shows. At Naomi Judd's funeral, those grudges came up again. It was a political choice. She went on stage anyway. She was quiet and graceful when she sang. She didn't show that she was mad. She didn't change how the night was going. She left the building when the show was over. She turned down talks. She didn't go to the dinner after the event. She went home on a radio after a few weeks. In a rare moment of openness, Reba talked about the night. In more than one way, that night broke my heart. It was clear what it meant. It was about giving up the right to say goodbye in public at a time that should never have been bargained or limited. Reba still has respect for the Opry as a place of worship. People who know her well say that the faith never came back after she left that stage. That night, something very important changed. This was an emotional line that was crossed and remembered. 5. G. Brooks. It was this promise that made Reba McEntire trust again. The last thing on Reba McEntire's list of things that can't be forgiven is when money, calendars, and silence all met. While G. Brooks stood in the middle of it. In the early 2000s, it began as a business talk, the kind that can only happen between equals. Reba and G talked about going on a trip together. Routing was thought about. Reba changed her plans to make room. The people around her knew the plan was going forward. The energy then went away. There were announcements. The idea of the tour lived on. It wasn't Reba's name. She didn't get a call to warn her. She didn't get a good grip. She found out the same way the people did, after the choice had already been made. Sources say G changed the direction of the tour after rethinking business control and branding. He opted for a different setup that gave him more power, they say. The turn wasn't what made Reba mad. It was the way. By making room for a tour that didn't happen, Reba looked foolish and unprofessional in a field that doesn't like it when people are surprised. Because trust had been handled like it wasn't important, the pain hit right away. After many years, Reba wrote about this kind of harm without naming names. A promise made in private can still destroy you in public. That line was important because it was very clear about what would happen. It wasn't personal shame that was hurt. It was the quiet loss of confidence that happens when plans fall through for no reason. Reba never talked to G in public. In talks, she didn't hint at it. She didn't use the story as a tool. But the weather changed. Joint ideas stopped moving forward. Invitations cooled down. Warmth in the workplace turned into a routine. People who know Reba say that this event changed how she did business with Nashville's most powerful people. Contracts took the place of handshakes. Verification beat out optimism. People stopped seeing silence as a sign of patience. That one taught her never to trust someone just once more. That is, Reba McEntire did not yell. It wasn't an accusation. She just didn't want to forget. Is it more important to be quiet in Nashville than to speak out? Who do you think hurt her the most, if you had to guess? Tell us what you think in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that aren't told in country music.